All right, we're going to talk conclusion here. At this point, you have done your intro. You have, your first body paragraph is about the article and how she reached for the moon. Your second body paragraph is about the poem. And remember, the poem is about the same topic, but you're taking lines from the poem and how that shows that she reached for the moon, meaning she made big choices and she made a big impact by setting big goals and accomplishing those big goals. Okay, so so that we'll say that would be here. Also she reached for the moon in other ways. This can be seen in the poem, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that would be your third paragraph. Now, when it is time for your fourth paragraph, which is your conclusion, okay, you're going to continue to look at your outline. Now, your outline says the very first thing you're going to do is to refer to your hook. So if you used a quote, you are not going to re-say the whole quote, but you could sum it up, okay? You could just kind of wrap it up by saying that she spoke and said great things if you used a quote. If it was a question, you could answer your question. If it was setting the scene, you could revisit how you set the scene. If it was one word, you could revisit that one word. So always start with a transition word. So you would say, in conclusion, let's say my hook was, I used a quote. I could say, in conclusion, Barbara Johns spoke graciously about the conditions that Black students experienced when things were clearly separate and not equal. Okay, so again, you're going to just reference your hook. So my quote was maybe something she said about how things were not equal and not fair. Maybe my quote was how she said, the time is now. So maybe you reference how she gathered everybody. Okay. Then what you're going to do is revisit my thesis statement. And my thesis statement, it says on the outline to refer to the poem and the article. So I need to mention that there was a poem and an article. So my outline, or my thesis statement here, the article and the poem, this is my thesis, talk about how she reached for the moon and accomplished big things by. So I would say she accomplished amazing things by reaching for the moon. And this can clearly be seen in the article. Imagine this was your school by Terry Canfield, and the poem Barbara Johns reaches for the moon by Irene Latham. Okay, then so that's my restating my thesis. She accomplished amazing things. Here's what she did, and I have both the texts in there. Now, how do I end it? With a so what statement. Your so what is your mic drop. It is the last thing your reader is going to read. You want a big impact as you end your essay. So probably should include something about reaching for the moon. Okay, so Barbara Johns made a big impact by reaching for the moon. She, maybe give a quick summary of what she did. Okay. And then you could even ask your reader, how are you going to reach for the moon? Okay. Or, just really grab your reader's attention as the very last sentence. Remember, your mic is dropping. You are making a big impact. And what if you could say one last thing about her and how she reached for the moon and how impactful she was and what a difference she made, that would be your very last thing to say. Okay?